Hello and welcome to Nick V Uncensored. Today we've got Chris Burris and Patty Greer, and today we're going to be talking about the hidden truth behind the 39 million people suffering from migraine just in the United States. Just before we begin, I want to say that we're back on YouTube, and I want to just put a disclaimer out there for YouTube's guidelines and policies, because we want to use the matrix tools to bypass those strategically to still wake a lot of people up, and we just have to be smart. But that's to say that all the videos that are put out are for educational and entertainment purposes only. We are not making any claims. We are not financial or health advisors. Of course, everything is opinion, speculation, some research and data, etc. But we urge you to do your own research. Chris and Patty, thank you both so much for joining me today. How are you, and what have you been up to? We'll go with Chris first.
Yeah, well, first, great to see you. I missed you guys connecting with you on the last time we were here, so I'm excited to be back. Honestly, I couldn't be more excited about the topic today. You know, as you mentioned in that intro, 39 million people in the U.S. alone suffer from migraines. We're going to be talking about, well, one, we can't make claims about migraines, but we're going to be talking about why we are doing a clinical study on migraines to help those 39 million people. So really excited to be kind of breaking that down today.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you very much. And Patty, over to you.
Thank you. Well, Chris and I together have personal testimonials that are very close to heart about Chris and his wife, and my mom, who's 96. Her helper, who comes 5 days a week, I had no idea she was dealing with migraines. And from the day I gave her a sample of Evo, along with one I sent my mom, she never has had one again. And this stimulated me to say to my partners, what's going on? And then Chris talked about he and his wife. So we are stimulated to, see if it's a coincidence or if there's really something to this, where Evo, which we know helps with brain health, is perhaps helping with these bad headaches.
Absolutely. So, Chris, can you explain to us the science behind migraines? I mean, is it just dehydration? Is it just a lack of sleep? Is it what's going on? Because some people, they say to me, and I get some people who say, "Oh, I've had the good sleep. I've drank loads of water. I've just eaten, but I've just got a migraine and it's not going away."
Yeah. Well, the reality is the medical community has not zeroed in on any one cause. There are some genetic factors that come into account. People talk about hydration and actually electrolytes being a factor. And then you end up with a situation like you just explained, where like I've done the nutrition, the electrolytes, I've done the hydration, I've gotten the good sleep, and I'm still getting a migraines. People will talk about stress, and that certainly seems to be an indicator of migraines. But migraines are one of the most frustrating kind of ailments that you can have, not just because you're trying to figure out what's going on. I can share with you, I am the geeky guy in front of you. I have a spreadsheet back to 2014 where I was tracking my 4 to 5 migraines per year because I was trying to solve them. So it's frustrating trying to figure out what's causing them and then the ramifications of a migraine, right? Often migraines are severe enough that you just want to be in a dark, cold room, no light, no noise, and that's debilitating. There are people whose lives are controlled by the migraines. Is this going to be a good migraine day or a bad migraine day? Am I going to be able to go grocery shopping because I need, if I have the migraine, I need to stay in my bed. It's a very frustrating, and with 39 million people in the U.S. alone, it's just so many people are suffering.
Absolutely. Patty, do you want to add to that?
Well, I watched a miracle yesterday, a migraine miracle, in my opinion. And again, must have been a coincidence that it worked for someone else. But one of our top influencers with over 2 million subscribers. So the show goes out. We had a lot of people watching. I sent him an email in the morning and I said, what we're going to talk about this week is migraine health and help. Migraine help. And we don't know if it's really true, but we'd like to discuss it because we're going to be doing a study. We're hearing too many positive testimonials. So he didn't tell us that he personally dealt with migraines. We didn't know, but he's been taking the Evo, and he's Greek like you. So he's just like kissing the bottle. He actually told me I dream about having a 32-ounce bottle yesterday. So he loves the product, and he ran out. Now, I said, don't you have the avocado? Well, yeah. I said, well, take it. It's almost as strong. But he was like, but the olive. And I said, I know. We're going to get you some more olive really quickly. But he actually started getting uncomfortable in his body. Like he said, I wasn't sure, that I was having all these glorious, wonderful effects from Evo. I just know that my focus is better, my energy is better. I sleep better, everything. He went down the whole list of benefits. And he said, but as soon as I didn't have it, oh, not good. And this is the beginning of the show. So he's like holding the bottle upside down because there's hardly any in it. And I said, fill the lid. Just do the best. Just leave it upside down. He grabs the 8-ounce also and he turns it upside down. And then I see him on air licking the lid, which was really cute. And 15 minutes later, he stops us from the show. And he says, I wasn't going to say this, but I have to. And it was really a moment where Chris and I are like, what? And he said, I was starting to have the coronal expansion of like holograph, whatever it is that people get. I've never had one, thank you. I've never had a migraine, but he said during the show, I really hate being without my olive oil, see, Evo, but when I took the sips out of the lid, he said, I was having just the beginning and thinking, I'm not sure I can get through the show. He said, I feel incredible now. It's totally gone. And we're live on the air. It was really good because we're just sitting there watching a really conscientious, highly studied man with a huge audience have this shift of energy miracle where he all of a sudden doesn't feel the oncoming severe headache. And it totally went away. The rest of the show, when we finished, he was like, oh my God, I'm so glad, I had my dose. And I said, well, anything you have, Evo, leave it upside down. And, but we FedExed, overnighted him more because we don't want people to run out, especially our influencers, because your health is our greatest wealth to help people get to the other side of all these traumatic events on our bodies.
Mm. So, Patty, tell me, from the moment he had he had this migraine, and then from the moment he took the olive oil, how long after that did you notice, or did he mention that the migraine had vanished?
It seems like it was 10, 15 minutes. But he was so amazed that he just said, wait, I got to stop the clock. He just I don't even remember what he said, but he stopped the conversation and he said, I wasn't going to say anything, but it's too amazing.
Right.
So 15 minutes, 15, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
He's got 2 million followers, and I think you've done a video with him, and when is he gonna release that video?
Sunday morning.
And you can't say who it is?
Chris?
Yeah, of course we can. It's gonna be public news on Saturday.
Sunday. Gary Franchi with Next News Network. He's got 2.3 million subscribers. And they didn't pull him off YouTube, or you probably would also. So, what a blessing. You're the 4th or 5th influencer that we work with that said, I got my YouTube channel back and all my, subscribers. What an interesting time we just got through. And in my opinion, I want to congratulate your entire audience and ours for getting here. What an event this has been, a challenge. But in my opinion, when you take C60 Evo, it's all about brain health. It's all about so many things. We're loyal. But I feel like a lot of people that I see having the easiest time getting through all of this and keeping their head on straight are people that take our products. And we get thank you letters like crazy.
Well, that's very interesting. Chris, why don't you explain to us the science behind why you think the olive oil helped the influencer that Patty's talking about, that their migraine just vanished away? What do you think it is?
So here's what we know about this molecule. Well, first off, here's the molecule, right? I'm holding up a model of the molecule. If you're listening, imagine a soccer ball or football for you, where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. Discovered in 85, the scientists who discovered it won the Nobel Prize in 96. They thought the molecule would be toxic. They put it in a toxicity study. Instead of being toxic, the test subjects that they gave it to, in this case, Wistar rats, lived 90% longer than the control group. So our most consistent testimonial, just to share, is people take it in the morning. They report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. By the way, if we just improved sleep, then we would probably have an improvement on migraines. That's how people seem, well, really, sleep is good for your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. I do want to kind of re-emphasize the FDA has not evaluated our product. It is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. We are not making claims about migraines. We're actually just sharing why we're going to do a clinical trial on migraines. And I wish I could say I was smarter and I took the data points that we had even way back in 2018 and decided to do a migraine study then. But we've just got so many testimonies, including Gary yesterday on air. Like, it was just crazy. I think anybody watching it might go like, this was, whatever planned. No, like, it was right. It was actually happening. He stopped it. And anyway, it's fantastic. This molecule, we know, gets into the mitochondria. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell. There's between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria in every cell in your body, except for your blood cells, which have 0, and your brain and neurons, which have 2 million. It is amazing how much energy our nervous system uses relative to all of our other systems. And that's where we think there might be having this positive impact. So let's kind of walk us through this. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell. Like every powerhouse, it's got a negative byproduct. You think about your car going down the road, it's got exhaust. You think about a power plant, there's a smokestack with smoke. In the case of mitochondria, it's reactive oxygen species. I like to think about these like little bumper cars. Everything they smack into, they're causing rust, oxidative stress, oxidative damage, ultimately inflammation. Internal to the mitochondria, we have glutathione and melatonin to manage those reactive oxygen species. But what happens when you have a stressed mitochondria? Remember, stress is one of those things that seems to be the most consistent when you start talking about migraines. When you have this stressed mitochondria, it starts producing more reactive oxygen species than the resident glutathione and melatonin can manage, and that's when they run around like little bumper cars and cause damage. That's also where we think this ESS60 molecule comes into play. Again, peer-reviewed published research proves it's in there. We know from way back in the 90s it can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles. So those reactive oxygen species, the extra ones, instead of being little bumper cars, are attaching to this ESS60 molecule so they don't run around and cause stress or damage. And then when that mitochondria replenishes the glutathione or replenishes the melatonin, then it can do its job and neutralize those reactive oxygen species appropriately. Kind of share all of that because fundamentally we believe we're reducing the negative impact of stress mitochondria. And if you reduce the negative impact of stress mitochondria, you should have what we do have, which is head-to-toe testimonials. And again, remember, your neurons have 2 million mitochondria per cell, and you're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria. That's why we think we're seeing, not just in this case, the migraine testimonials that are causing us to do a migraine study, but also, again, our most consistent testimonial, both focus and energy and better sleep.
Now, would you think this is appropriate, Chris, for children to take, for parents to give to their children when they're suffering from headaches, as they're too young to take, paracetamol or Panadol or, Excedrin, I think you call it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, here's the reality. There is nothing in the literature to suggest that this is bad for children. But this is it's not a new molecule. It's a naturally occurring molecule. We've all been exposed to it. It's a new supplement. And when there's a new supplement, because we're a science-backed organization, we recommend that if you're pregnant, trying to get pregnant, if you're nursing, or if your children under about the age of 14, 15, then you should just not take it. Again, not because there's anything in the literature to suggest it. It's just such an early supplement, and those are such formative years.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris, for explaining that to us. Patty, is there anything you want to say to that?
I love it that you do that because my brain is going, wow, I never thought of my 43-year-old daughter that just had the easiest first birth ever. And the nurses were just like, how did she do that? Now, she took Evo for years because my mom at 96 and my kids in their 30s and 40s, we all take Evo. We don't get sick, coincidentally, and we're all like flexible, bones work, joints work. But she was doing Evo for years. And when she got pregnant, I said, "Oh, God, I hate to tell you to stop, but we're so conservative. Please stop. Just don't take it during your pregnancy or nursing." So she did stop. But I think that the years of having really good organic olive oil in her system made her more susceptible to having an easier birth. I think it makes everything a lot easier. I had 2 hip replacements in the last year and a half. And today, when I was hauling my trash can out and back, I thought, I don't even limp. I haven't limped at all. I haven't hurt. Like I've had the most phenomenal recovery from 2 major surgeries. And it's the Evo. There's nothing else I do that could have helped that much. And my daughter having this remarkable, perfect birth, like short labor and happy baby, was just like, huh. And for me, I just say everything's this. I just kiss the
Mhm.
bottle.
Well, I'm Greek and we love olive oil. Put it all over my salad. But since I know, I'm maybe trying with my fiance, maybe I should tell her to skip it, you know. But thank you very much for sharing everything with us today. And Patty, when I look at you, I would never ever think that you've got a 43-year-old. You look amazing. But
Oh, and I was 30 when I had her. I'm 72.
well, you don't look 72. You look,
Thank you.
52, But
Well,
guys,
when you said you love the olive oil and you were gonna spread it all over, I went, and then you said salad. I was gonna tell you a funny story, which is Chris gave a bottle to a lady who left it on her
spread it all
table. And
over.
all of her friends came over to visit, and they said to her, "What are you doing? You look amazing. Like your skin is glowing. You have so much energy." And she lifts up her bottle of Evo and she goes, "Just this." And it was a bottle of oil, and it's not cheap. And so they're all going, "Wow, I mean, really, you look remarkable." And then she put it down, left the room, and they all slathered their bodies with it. They were just having a gathering like of ladies, and they all slather their arms a little bit. I don't know how much they use, but she said they were
All of
wired.
it. They used all
All
of
of it.
Wow.
it.
So she comes back and they had put it on their bodies. And I'm going, I want to hear the punchline of this because we know that 40% of everything you rub on goes in. So you don't want to be putting crap on your skin. You don't want to be putting crap on your face. Our products are so clean. We love what we do. And I did want to mention we have an incredible holiday sale. Can I go there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And by the way, the link's below in the description, so do click and all the information will be there. But Patty, please continue.
We have never done this, but something got into Chris Ho Ho Ho, and he hit the Santa button. And when he told me we're going to do 40% off if people buy 6, what are your 2 top sellers at Evo? Like, we do this. So I was like, well, obviously the olive oil and the face serum set, which is our starter set. So we are doing a special, which is crazy wonderful, where if you buy 6 of these, you're going to get 40% off. If you buy a dozen, it's 25% all year long, which is the biggest discount we do. Now it's 40% until we stop doing it, but that's quite amazing. So 40% off the olive oil or 40% off 6 of the starter set, the inside and out, because this is for your face, this is for your body. And when you take it in and out, you're going to see multiple times the results, I think. If I don't look my age, it's got to be that because I rode 50,000 miles on a Harley without a helmet or a windshield. I was a little nuts in my 50s, but I came back because of this crazy product. And they don't call it a miracle molecule for nothing. So it's our name, our website, your name, C60EVO, like evolution.com/NVTV,
Oh, I
which is
think.
Nicholas.
Oh no,
Am
no,
I right?
please. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I was going to say
Yep.
thank you very much. All the details will be below in the description for that. Chris, is there anything that you would like to say also before we finish?
No, I think it's fantastic. The thing that really smacked us in the face finally as a testimonial, not just mine, not just my wife's, not just Patty's mother's caretaker, but a lady who I got on the phone with her and she just raved for 30 minutes about how her husband, who's debilitating migraines, had some modicum of control. That was the last thing. It was like, okay, now we got to do a study. So it's just so excited to be here. And thank you so much. I'm glad I was able to join you. And thank you for having us.
Absolutely, always. Well, thank you very much. And again, we'll speak again very soon. You take care. Bye-bye.